It's Friday, April 26, and this is your Barbados Today Evening News Update. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Thanks for joining us. The top management of the state-owned Barbados Water Authority could end up before the Employment Rights Tribunal to defend claims of unfair dismissal by two former employees who were sent home during last year's retrenchment exercise. General Secretary of the Unity Trade Union, Senator Caswell Franklin, whose organization is representing former management of the Water Waste Unit, Patricia Innes, and ex-financial controller Lorna Maskell, revealed this afternoon that he will be asking the Chief Labour Officer to refer their claims of unfair dismissal to the tribunal. Senator Franklin said his decision to have the tribunal intervene followed the Waterworks Company's failure to honor a commitment during a meeting on April 8 to respond to his client's claim by Tuesday this week.
They have to go to the tribunal because I believe it is unfair dismissal, especially in the case with Lorna Maskell. Her job still exists. They just call it something else. Lorna, same thing with Patricia Innes. Her job still exists. They call it something else. It is not a redundancy. Unless it's a redundancy, they don't follow the rules that the law requires them to follow. And this is a government institution that must follow the rules.
In other news, this Friday, the Democratic Labour Party must confess its failings to the people of Barbados if it wants to be a major political force again. That's the frank view of former Culture Minister Stephen Lashley as he delivered the weekly Astor Awards lunchtime lecture today. Lashley conceded that the former DLP administration was at times arrogant and its 2018 election campaign smacked of negativity. He told the party, which was handed a bruising 30-0 defeat at the poll, the time has come to come clean.
People want to hear a recognition that yes, we were in a government. We were found wanting by the people of Barbados. We have to recognize that. We must not become so swell-headed that we are not big enough to accept the fact that there were things that the ball was dropped on and they were significant enough to cause people to rebel. I think in recognizing that, we can build a platform that persons will listen to. A platform that persons will say, well, yes, we can begin. The process, comrades, will not be one that will happen overnight. It will not be a short-term process, but it is one that will require a new kind of focus from within.
In addition to pleading with the party to apologize to Barbadians, Lashley said the party must also confront allegations of corruption head-on.
If there are allegations of corruption, then you have to meet and face those allegations. If there are persons who are found guilty, I don't know if anybody is found guilty about corruption.
You'll serve the time.
But if there are persons found guilty of corruption, we as a party should be the first to say we frown on corruption. And therefore, anybody found guilty of corruption, we have to be able to say that we have to have the laws applied to that. Because I read earlier, one of the standard principles of the party was that we were formed to root out graft and corruption. I used to hear Arabar talking about it all the time.
That's right.
About corruption. So we have to find our place again within the discourse where we attach zero tolerance to corruption and where the government stands along that pathway as well. We have to be bold enough to join with them along that pathway.
3 officers will face the Barbados Defence Force Internal Court over the next month. No names have been released, but the series of court-martials will run between May 7 and June 6. Lieutenant Commander Ryan R. Allen, Force Adjutant for the BDF, addressed the media during a news conference today.
The BDF will be holding the first court-martial, and the particulars for these will be Between the period to the 7th to 10th of May, the individual is charged with committing a civil offence contrary to Section 76(1) of the Defence Act, Cat 159. That is to say, they wrongfully communicated information contrary to Section 2(1)(a) of the Official Secrets Act 1911, as amended by the Official Secrets Act 1920. The second court-martial being held during the period 27th to 30th of May 2019. The individual have 4 charges proffered against them. The first 2, communicating with the enemy contrary to Section 36(2) of Defence Act Cat 159. Third charge is conduct to the prejudice of good order and military discipline contrary to Section 75 of the Defence Act Cat 159. The fourth charge, neglect to the prejudice of good order and military discipline contrary to Section 75 of the Defence Act Cat 159. The third court-martial to be held during the period 3rd to 6th of June 2019. The individual is charged with committing a civil offence contrary to Section 76(1) of the Defence Act Cat 159. That is to say, they indecently assaulted an individual contrary to Section 11(1) of the Sexual Offences Act Cat 154.
In news from the law courts, Calypsonian Aziza Clarke was granted $20,000 bail with 2 sureties when she appeared in the District A Magistrates Court today. Back in March, Clarke of Unit 4 Bonnets, Britain's Hill, St. Michael, was arrested and formally charged in connection with a number of offences which occurred on March 21 in Grim Hall, Christchurch. She was charged with assaulting a police officer in the execution of his duty, resisting arrest, and committing criminal damage. Clarke was also charged with several traffic offences, including failing to stop at the sound of the police siren, failing to register motor vehicle MC92, and using a vehicle without having insurance. She is also facing the indictable charge of assisting an offender. At today's hearing, a Magistrate Graveney Bannister ordered Clarke to surrender her travel document and report to Hastings Police Station every Saturday. She was also placed on a daily 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. She will next appear in the District B Hastings Magistrates Court on May 3.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional developments, police in Jamaica are worried about a rise in the sale of counterfeit medical drugs. We get the details in this Television Jamaica report.
Fake clothes and shoes Jamaicans are aware of, but the police say those aren't the only things criminals are targeting.
These criminals now, they have added the pharmaceuticals to their band of activities because it is big money business.
ASP Barrett did not give an estimate of the size of the market for fake medications in Jamaica, but he said globally it earns billions of dollars and the criminals want a piece of the action in the Jamaican market.
It's a rising star in Jamaica. I call it silent tourism. Why? Because it kills you. Imagine you have ailment and you take medication that has no active ingredients or it has more than the required amount of active ingredients. Then the end result is that you might die or you might have different complications.
He said the criminals are not only based in Jamaica, and some of those fake medications are even bought with the buyers being unaware, because the perpetrators set up their business to look legitimate.
And on the international scene, Sri Lanka's Prime Minister has insisted that he was out of the loop when it came to intelligence warnings ahead of the deadly Easter Sunday bombings. He was adamant that crucial information about any potential danger in the country was not passed to him. The subsequent attacks, which claimed at least 250 lives, exposed the massive intelligence failure by Sri Lanka. The country's police chief and top defense ministry official have both resigned over the bombings, but the Prime Minister maintains that he was unaware of the warnings and there is no need to step down from his position.
The information was sent down to different levels, the concerned DI, Deputy Inspector General of the Police, to the other divisions. But beyond sending it, there doesn't seem to have been very much of activity on that side. It may be that some of them did not know whether it will actually take place, or if there was a group that was capable of doing this activity in Sri Lanka after the defeat of the LTTE.
So they didn't think it was important enough to tell you?
No, I didn't think.
Even though you're the Prime Minister?
Yeah, I didn't get the information.
And that's news. But for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.pb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper email updates, so like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.